Today's Life Made Simple video is on rope knots. If the overhand knot and the shoelace are the only knots you know how to tie, then this video is for you. Now if you're looking to hang stuff up around your house or secure some cargo to your truck, or you do any sort of outdoors activities such as fishing, camping, or hiking, knowing how to tie the proper knots can be hugely helpful. My choice for top 5 knots that at least one person in every household should know how to tie are the Bowline, the figure 8 knot, the trucker's hitch, the Taut line hitch, and finally the sheet bend. And I'm going to show you how to tie each of those today. I'm using standard 550 paracord rope. I have this all over the place. It's in the truck, it's in the house. I always have some nearby because I find it's very light and it's very strong. So it's not a huge and thick rope, so it's easy to pack anywhere from your backpack to the truck or your toolbox. It's also not taking up a lot of space, and it's very, very strong. The first knot that I'm going to show you is also my favorite, which is the Bowline knot. So the Bowline knot is great for tying a loop to the end of any rope, or for tying a rope to, say, a loop or a hook, maybe on the back of a truck, in the truck bed, or around a tree, or anywhere else that you need to really tie a loop to the end of a rope. So you begin by identifying that there's a working end, which is this end here, and then there's the other half, the non-working end. So all you're going to do is you're going to create a loop on the non-working end, and if you're right-handed, you're going to loop it upwards on top or over top of that non-working end, and you're going to hold it. You're going to feed the working end up and through that loop, around and back down. Then you're going to hold those ends tight while you cinch it up. And there you go. That's what a Bowline knot looks like. And it's strong, it's not going to come apart. It's great for beginning to tie down loads on a truck or anytime you need a loop at the end of a rope. The other way to tie a Bowline knot is to actually tie it around something. So here I'm going to show you how to tie it around a simple 5/8 inch shackle. So you're going to loop it up through whatever it is you're tying that Bowline around. You're going to take the non-working end and you're going to create a loop on top of itself. You're going to take the working end, feed it up through that loop, around, and back down. And then you're just going to tighten it up. Most people will tie overhead knots. They're going to tie one over and over and over again, and by the time they're done, they're going to have about 10 different knots to have to untie later. The beauty in having a strong and easy to tie knot like this is also the ease by which it comes apart. So there's always a loop and there's a working end that you just need to find. And once you find that and you nicely pull it apart, the whole thing unravels. The second most useful knot to know how to tie is the figure 8 knot. As you probably know, a lot of climbers use these knots. They're very, very strong. They're great for tying a loop at the end of a rope or anywhere else along the length of a rope. So I'll show you how that works. So you're going to double up your rope, and you're going to go as if you were going to tie a regular overhand knot, which means you loop it around and then you're going to pull it up and through. So this is what a normal overhand knot would look like. For the figure 8 knot, what you're going to do is you're going to begin the same way. You're going to put it around as if you're going to tie an overhand knot, but then you're going to loop it around once more before you put it through. Now, before you tighten it up, you're going to notice this is looking like the infinity sign or figure 8 knot. So once you tighten it up, and if you want to clean it up just to make it a little bit tidier, there you go. A very strong figure 8 knot at the end of a rope. In another instance for the figure 8 knot, you may actually not be looking to have a loop established at the beginning. You might actually need to tie it through something as a figure 8 knot. You're going to begin by giving yourself a whole bunch of slack in this rope. So about, let's say, this much. You start it as if you're going to do an overhand knot. You go around again and you feed it through, but you don't tighten it up. So you can see right now you've got the start of that figure 8 knot. So then what you do is you take the working end, you feed it through whatever it is you need to have that loop going on to, and then you're just going to follow the rope back the way that you came. So do everything that it did to get to this point. Okay, and then you see how this last part feeds around and up, and then you're just going to tighten everything up. And just like with the Bowline, this is fairly easy to untie. So you're just going to look for the loop, and you look for the working end, and you start pulling it through. And once you find that, it's going to be fairly easy to take apart from there, and it just comes apart nicely so you can reuse your rope, put it back in your backpack, and off you go. Okay, so to show you how to tie the trucker's hitch, I've just set up a basic basket with stuff in it. So pretend this is maybe your truck bed, and you've got a load in there that you need to secure. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to anchor the rope to one side of it. So for example, in my truck bed, I've got those loops, those hooks that I can tie rope onto. And so I'm going to anchor it with what I showed you before, which is a Bowline knot. That anchors one side of my load. And so now I'm going to turn this around, and I'll show you what the other side looks like. So once you've secured one end of it, in order to secure the other side of it, what you're going to do now is you're going to feed the working end of the rope through the other side. And then you're going to need a slip knot. So you basically just loop it around, put it down upon itself, pull through, and you've got a slip knot here. Now, word of advice, don't put the slip knot too close to this other anchor point, because as you tighten it down, it's going to move towards that anchor point. So you need enough space for you to continue pulling and cinching this down. So you stick your working end through that slip knot, and now what you do is you tighten. And you can see as you tighten it, it's securing the load. And then the final step that you need to do once you've got it secure is you're going to tie it off. And the way that you tie it off is you pinch the end of it. You simply create another slip knot. So you've got a loop here. You're going to reach and pull that through. So now it's tight. So this is how you complete a trucker's hitch to secure your load. And if you want to make it just a little bit more secure for the ride, you can create a second slip knot, and you can tie these two together. And that's not going to come apart on the highway or wherever your travels are. Now, to undo this, all you need to do is you undo this initial knot, and then you pull to let the slip knot come out. You pull again to let this one come out, and then you simply loosen everything up. And to get rid of this slip knot, same thing, you just pull it through. And now you've learned how to tie a trucker's hitch knot. The Taut Line Hitch. So this is the knot that I use anytime I need something that's adjustable. So I'm not exactly sure how big or small I need it, but I do need to tighten it or potentially loosen it up over the course of time. So let's just say I'm putting it around this object as an example, my trusty shackle. Okay, well, the way you tie this one, you're going to come around whatever it is you're tying here. You're going to go once around, twice around. You kind of need to make it a little bit tidy. You're going to go around the back, and you're going to feed it down and through. Okay, now this isn't like other knots where you just simply pull and everything comes together. This is the type of knot you actually have to clean up a bit. So you got to be a little bit gentle with it when you first create it, and then you're going to put it together. So as you put it together, you're making sure it's all neat and tidy. You're tightening it up, and then ultimately you got a nice, neat, tidy knot known as the Taut Line Hitch. So I want to tighten this loop. I'm going to hold this end of it, and I'm going to tighten it. Okay, now if I want to loosen it, I'm going to hold the opposite end, and I'm just going to slide it along that way to loosen as much as I need. Okay, so this is a great knot. Anytime you need something adjustable, you might be using it as extra support to hang something up, and you want to tighten it after it's tied. It might be you're setting up a hammock. But the Taut Line Hitch is an excellent, excellent knot anytime you need something that's adjustable. And the fifth most important knot for everybody to know how to tie is called the sheet bend. Now, it's actually very similar to the Bowline except the difference is you're using this to join two pieces of rope together. So in this case, I've got two pieces of fresh paracord rope here. I've got different colors so you can see the difference when you tie them together. So all you do is on one end, you're going to create a bite. So this is not a loop. A loop would go over. This is a bite. You're going to take the working end of your other rope. You're going to feed it up and around, and then back up through itself, and then you're going to tighten it up. And that's it. This is super strong. It's not going to come apart if the rope is moving around like some other knots. And you can see how after it's tied, look at how they join together and they bite on each other. So the more you pull, the more they're biting on each other, which is why they won't come free. So similar to the bowline, you're going to look for the loop and the working end, and to take it apart, that's all you need to do. The other awesome thing about a sheet bend is that it doesn't matter what size rope you're joining together. As long as you're joining together two pieces of rope, the sheet bend is going to work. So in this case, you can see I've got two ropes of different sizes. All you do is, again, you create a bite on one end, feed it up and around and back through itself, tighten it up. That's it. Thanks for watching my video on the top 5 knots that I think everybody needs to know how to tie. If you found this helpful, please hit the like button and leave any questions that you have for me in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more Life Made Simple videos.